Hey guys, welcome back. Yeah, so in the previous video we talked about working with methods in C sharp. Uh, and in this video we'll be talking about understanding classes and objects in C sharp. So understanding classes and objects in C sharp. So let's get started. I'll clear this out. Understanding classes and objects. Understanding classes and objects in C sharp. So yes, understanding class and object in C sharp. So basically we'll be talking about class. And so what is a class? Let me first start with that. What is a class? So a class is a blueprint for creating objects. A class is a blueprint for creating objects. Yeah, so um to like when we started this video, I explained I explained program class to us. So program class is also a class that is also a class where all the where that runs all the implementation we have, or all the implementation we all the code we've written. So any code we write or any code we've written and we want to execute them, we have to bring them down into this program class. You have to bring, so if you we can have multiple, like I said we can create multiple classes. Let's say we have up to like 4 different classes here, and the classes are they have different things they are doing, and we want to execute or run anything inside all those 4 classes. You have to bring them down here by calling them inside this program class before anything you've done inside all those other classes will be executed. So whatever you have in your program class is what is going to be executed. I think I explained that when we started this tutorial, this course. Yeah, so like I said, class are blueprints for creating objects. So I will start by creating a class here. So I will call this class calculation class. Calculation. Yeah, so in the previous video I was talking about method overloading, which I said I will bring it down here. I'll bring it down to the to this video to explain it more better. So we are doing something about method overloading, and I said I don't want to complicate things in the previous video. That once we get to this video, I will call the methods and show us how they work. So you can leave this as internal, since this is just we are just working on a single project here, which is the console application. So assuming we are having multiple projects, or have multiple class libraries, and you want to reference this in another, that's another topic for another day. You might have to. So let me just start with access modifiers too. So access modifiers, let me explain what access modifiers means. Access modifiers, we have public, we have private, we have uh, for classes. Basically for classes we have internal and private and public. So internal means, let me explain for classes. So for classes we have internal and public. So internal means it can only be accessed in this project. So this is the console project. So if you set a class to internal, that means it can only be accessible in this project, train check tutorial. So assuming we have another project here, maybe a class library or any other project, and you want to make use of this class calculation inside it, and you set it to internal, you will not be able to access it. You have to set it to public. So public means it can be accessed, it is accessible outside this project, maybe in another project you'll be adding. So internal means it can only be accessible inside this project, while public means it can be accessible outside this project. So basically, and you can't actually set this, you can't set a class to private because to tell you cannot be explicitly declared as private, protected. uh, So protected internet. So it can only be it can only be declared as either internal or public. That is for classes. That is for classes. I hope you understand that. If you don't understand, you can drop your question in the comment section. I will attend to them. Yeah. So what we are going to be doing in this calculation class is what is the method overloading that I was talking about in the previous video. So I'll just add like three different methods that will be three methods that will be doing calculations basically. So I will have int multiply multiply number which will have which will accept int a and int b basically, and then we will return a plus b. We will also have the same thing here. So I'll be doing the method overloading, the same method with different signature. Method overloading, I said in the previous video, like I said in the previous video, it is creating the same method with different signature. So if you check this now, you are seeing um already calculation already defined a member called multiply number with the same parameter. So if you are doing method overloading, it must have different signature, which means different parameters for you to be able to use it. So int c and times c, and I'll just create three method overloading, and int d, just want to use it before I move to the main class, the main stuff I want to discuss about classes. To use this, to call this class now in our program class. So like I said earlier, in the beginning of this video, I said we can have multiple classes here and they'll be doing different things. So for you to be able to make use of all these methods now that you declare inside this calculation class, you have to bring it down inside this program class. You have to bring it down inside this program class by doing this. So calculation dot, so while doing calculation dot, we can have access to everything we have inside calculation. So if you do calculation dot, we will have access to everything in calculation, but you will notice we are not seeing the method called multiply number. Sorry, let me bring this back. So if you notice, you will see we are not seeing the method called multiply numbers that we declare inside calculation. The reason is because we did not specify an access modifier for it. So basically it is seeing it as a private method. It's seen it as a private method because it is inside this calculation. So if you want it to be outside, if you want it to be accessible, so that is, I explained class access modifier before, that we can either declare a class as public or internal. So while declaring a method too, or while creating a method, we also have access modifiers too. So we have public, we have private, we have protected, so when defining a method, you can either define your method as a private method, a public method, or protected method, which they have their different use cases and how you can use it. So a public method can be accessible anywhere in the project. can be accessible anywhere in the project. A private method can only be accessible inside the class where it is being defined. So right now, this without specifying any access modifier for this method, it is a private method. So it can only be accessible inside this class called calculation. Inside this class called calculation. So it cannot be accessible outside this class called calculation, but because without specifying any access modifier for it, it is a private method. But once we specify an access modifier for it to be public, that means it can be accessed outside this class. So if we do this, okay, yeah, another thing also is for us to be able to make use of this class called calculation using the dot method like this, because there is a like I said, there is a method inside this program class. It is a static main method, and to make use of a class, to call a class with the dot format, using the dot format inside this program class, you have to make the class a static class, because the method inside this program class is a static method. So to call a method using to call a class and have access to all the method using the dot format, you have to make the class a static class. So if you do this, you also have to make all these static, static, and static. So if you do this now, you can see multiply number. So you already have access to multiply number because we already make the class and the method static. This program class has a static main method that we are not seeing. But if it was .NET, that was why I said in the beginning of this course, I said I would like to create this course with .NET 3.1, because I want us to see some things that has been abstracted. All these things has been abstracted in these latest versions. It has been abstracted, so you can't actually see some things. So So now we already have access to the method. We can see multiply numbers. Yeah, so multiply numbers with plus 2 overloads. So this is the method overload I was actually talking about. Multiply number, this is the first method with plus 2 overloads. So I'm still coming back to that. I was saying something about access modifier for method earlier. So, but if I should remove this, because before I made it static, then so that it won't be as if, okay, it was the static that was not allowing it to show before, or something like that. So let's see. You can see once I remove the access, even though we've had, because I noticed before we didn't add static, so you guys might be thinking, oh, it is because we didn't add static, and now we already have static, so it should show without even adding the access modifier. So I just intend to show us that it will still not show, because the static method is just for you to be able to make use of this dot, making use of calling the method, calling the classes using the dot, having access to the method in a class using the dot format. So calling the class dot the method. So that is that for that. There's another way you can actually call it, but that's is for another time in another video. Let's take it step by step. Yeah. So now if we do this, you can see we already have access to it back. Multiply number. So this is multiply number, right? So we can do this over, sorry, results. I like using vilots. So result is now equals to calculation dot multiply number. So this calculation is the one holding all these is the one holding this all these method overloads. So for us to have access to the method, you can just do calculation dot, then you pass in. So Don't forget, this is a method overload. Accepts there's a method accepting two parameters, another one accepting three parameters, another one accepting four parameters. So it's a method overload. So we can do this 2018 and 4. This will work. You can see it's still showing us that we have two overloads that we can still use. So I'll say result 1. So result 1, result 2, right? You can see two overloads. So there is one that we've passed in two parameters. So this one will only multiply 18 by 4. And this result 2 will multiply 18 by 4 by 6. We also have another one again. Result 3. That will multiply 18 by 4 by 6 and by 8. So basically what this does is it is still the same method, but it is a method overload with different signature. So you can see multiply number, multiply number, multiply number, but they are having different signature, doing different thing. The only thing that is common there is their name. Just their name and their return type is what is common there. They are doing different thing entirely. They are doing different thing entirely. So let's try this. Let's try this. So I did a method that is greeting before. I can't. It has already counted the yeah. Sorry, it's already counted because the naming will actually be wrong. Don't let me complicate things for us. Multiply number. How we multiply number? Greet. So let's just that is off. That is off. So let's just stick to what we are doing. That is off. So if I call this CW, the first one, let me do string literals. Result 1, Abby. Yeah. So this is result 1. So let me do this. Let me do this. Result 1. So I will do result 2, result 2, result 3, result 3. So if I launch this, so we can see result 1 is what 18 times 4, which is 72. Result 2 is what 18 times 4 times 6, which is 432. While result 3 is what 18 times 4 times 6 times 8. They are doing different things. The only thing that is common there is their name, but their implementation of whatever thing they are doing is different. So that is how method overloading works in C sharp. So I believe we should understand method overloading now. Yeah, so and that is how to also make use of class. I'm still going to using a class as an object. I'm still going to using a class as an object. So right now, I already what I explained is using a class to hold a method and then call the method in a program class. So basically, we have a calculation class having calculation methods. So we can have more. Can have more. Add number. This. So the class, we're using the class to hold the calculation methods and then calling it in the program class. So instead of littering this program class, doing all these multiple methods here, you can actually separate it. You can also have another one, greeting. You can have another class called greeting, and then everything we do, all the methods we'll be adding there is just for greeting. And then we can come down here and call it whenever we want to use it. So that is that for that. So moving on to, and if there's any question or there is anything you don't understand, kindly drop them in the comment section. I promise to attend to each and every question here. So moving on to using a class as an object. So I said classes are blueprints of an object. So using a class as an object now. So I will do this, add a new class. I will do this. So I will say I will call this class car. I will call this class car, right? And I can leave it internal because since it is still within this project, hope we do not forget, but I can decide to put it public anyhow, still within the same project. So I said classes are what? Classes are blueprints of what? Of an object. Classes are blueprints of an object. So moving on. So what I'll be using this car class to do is what? So I'll be using this car as an object to hold on to all the properties a car can have or a car has or a property of a car. I'll be using this class to hold on to all the properties of a car. Basically, let's say the price, the model, the year, the whatever a car always have. So, like I said, class is what is a blueprint for creating objects. So, right now, class I will use it to define a type by bundling data fields and behavior methods that object class can have. So basically, don't forget I said I'm using this class to do what? To create an object. To create an object. So I will say public. So these are fields. What I'm about to do now is called fields, which are fields is, let me just explain what fields is. So fields is what? Fields is a variables that hold data specific to an object. Field is what? Is a variable that holds data specific to an object. So all the fields I'm going to be defining here is what? They are variable that are specific to this car object. So this is a class called car. I'm using this class as an object. So I'll be referring to this car as an object now. It's a class and I'll be referring to it as an because I'm making use of it as an object. So all the fields I'm creating here are what are specific to this car object or this car class. So like I said, fields are variables that hold data specific to an object. Fields are variable that hold data specific to an object. So private string name gets and sets. So this is how to declare a field. This is a field basically, which is a variable specific to this car object. So car, which is the car name, can also have public the car description, whatever, public string model, right? Public string. We also have date time. You can say date time, which is the year, or we say, yeah, that's year. We can use date time, or we use date time is used to manage dates. You have date time, you have date time offset, you have basically date time properties. They are used to manage what dates in C sharp. So we say string, you can still use string. So anyhow, public uh so decimal. Like I said in the beginning of the video, decimal is used for anything financial stuff. So using decimal price. So what other property can a car have? So price, year, model, description, name. I think this is enough. It's just for. So what I will be doing with this now is what I'll be using this car class to create multiple objects. I'll be using this car class to create what multiple objects, multiple objects. So I'll bring this car class down to the program class. So to for me to be able to use this car class to create objects, I will have to do what? Create a new instance of this car class in this program class. So to create a new instance of a class and use it to create an object, you can do car new car, new car one is equals to new car. So there are two ways. Is either you put them in these curly brackets like this, or you do this, but and you now start doing new car one dot name is equals to new car one dot, but this will work. And but or you do this name is equals to okay, let me add one more property, company. Let me add company. There's company. And okay, note too, you can't have the same property name, you can't have the same field name. Yeah. Company. So name is equals to Camry. Or you said Camry is company, right? The company is what? To is sorry, let me double code. Toyota. Toyota, comma, description, brand new. What other thing? Model. I don't even know. Toyota. Um, Toyota. Just Camry. I don't know. Just for test purpose. Price. So price. 20,000 USD or whatever. Year 2024. So I already used this car class to create a new object, to create an object. I already used this car class to create an object. So this new car one is a car object on its own. This car class, I can use this car class to create as many objects as I want. I use this car class to create multiple objects, as many as I want. So doing this now, and I said to create um, an object with this class, you have to come down here, create a new instance. So this is what we call creating a new instance of a class. So car, the variable name. So don't forget, whenever we are declaring an integer, we have okay, declaring a variable. I mean, so this is the data type, right? Int. This is the variable name. This is the value. This is the data type int. This is the variable name, right? This is the value. But in the context of class and objects, this is the type. Car class, car class is the type. This is the object name or variable name or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, this is the name, and you are creating a new instance of it, and these are the values. I hope you understand that. So, so this is I've created an object here. I can still create another one here. This is another object. I can create as many as possible. So, having this will just be let me just change this to name GLK company Benz brand new Benz ah Benz GLE oh sorry GLK capital letter GLK. So sorry, I have been writing Ben since, which is supposed to be Benz. So I was writing Ben instead of Benz. So Benz GLK $50,000 this. So this is an object of a car, and then we use it to create a Camry Toyota. It's that car class, and still create another object, new car too, for what GLE Benz. Can still create for Lexus, still create for different car models that we have using this car class only. So in the explanation of classes that I did earlier, I said class is a blueprint for creating objects. This is the object. These are the properties. This is the class. These are the properties. And these are the objects. This is the class. These are the properties of fields, and these are the objects. These are the objects. The first object I created, the second object I created. So class is a blueprint for creating objects. So for me to display all these values we have here now, so I can display car1, CW, and I can do name, let me use the string literal, so I can have name, right? So now be what? It won't be car1 on its own, because if you do car1, car1 is an object. You have to specify what properties of the object do you want to display. So if you do this, you'll see what you are going to get. Okay, you can see print check tutorial.car, because the car is an object. The car, yeah, is an object. It's an object. So you have to define whatever you want to get from this new car1. So you can to have access to all the properties you've defined or you've declared inside this new car1. You have to do what? Use the new car1 dot, just like the way we are accessing these guys, the method inside these classes, or this class, sorry, the method inside this class. New car1 dot right dot dot name. So you can have, I just want to do this company company description description model price year and year too. So let me comment on this, guys. Yeah. So okay, you can see this is new car one, right? And these are the data of the new car one. You can see name, Camry. So new car one dot name, which is referring to this that we define. So new car one dot name, new car one dot product for company description. So you can see name is what Camry, the company is what Toyota, description is what brand new, what is what Toyota Camry, price this. That is that for that. You can also do the same thing for what, for this guy. It's our second guy here. New car 2. So I can just keep changing this to 2 to 2 to 2, and then if I launch this, you can see. Let me separate them with CW, ah, CW, ah, this shortcut did not want to work. We don't want to work. I'll manually create what I want to create. So you can see this is the first object, this is the second object. So we can create as many objects as possible. As many objects as possible. So that is how classes or class work. I don't know, I've been saying classes this morning. Just bear with me. So that is how class works in C sharp. It's just class. I don't know, classes. I even typed classes. Understanding class and object in C sharp. So that is how class work in C sharp. So basically, if there's anything you don't understand or if there's any question you want to ask, you can just drop them in the comment section. So I want us to try something for this calculation. So instead of making it a static, 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 we can do this. So you see it will be showing error here. So we can, let's see. So let me comment on these guys. Can do this. Still gonna work. Yeah, so basically it's still going to work. So you can see we still have the results. It's still going to work, but it's not really advisable doing this. But I just did this because we are just working on a console project, a console application. So as once we get to the framework doing building a web application, we will be using interface, basically dependency injection. So for us to be able to have access to everything we have in this class, all these methods we have in this class and coding, and also it's not advisable making a method a static method, because assuming we are on the using the framework, we can't be making the method a static method Basically, we just have to make use of dependency injection, make use of interface, and then calling, implementing the interface, and then using. So instead of creating the new instance like this, instantiating it like this, we just have to make use of the interface and then get access to all the methods we have inside it. So basically, that is that for that. So well, in the next video, we'll be talking about that OOP. So I think we will understand that more. This particular thing I'm talking about, we understand it more in the next video, which is object-oriented programming. We're talking about the interface, dependency injection, and some other things like that. So encapsulation, all those OOP principles, and every other thing. So basically, it's not advisable doing this, but yeah, this is just basically a console application, so we can actually do this. But getting moving forward to the, if you can't do this in a complex project or something like that, so you have to make use of interface, um, register it, and some other stuffs like that before we. So, but this is just a console application. So, guys, if there's any question you don't understand, if there's anything you don't understand, or if there's any question you want to ask, can you drop them in the comment section? I promise to attend to each and every question. Guys, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share. Don't forget to drop your comments too if you have any question. Yeah, so guys, thanks so much. See you in the next video.